Welcome back to Breakfast Central here on News Central Television. It's time to find out what the big stories are making headlines today in the front pages. And joining us is a public affairs analyst and a friend of the house, Sesan Okunade. Well, welcome to you, Sesan. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. It's good to have you. Akpabio, it's true. Happy New Month.
And you know, like they say, since the last time we saw, so many water has passed upon under the bridge. So let's start with...
And there is a crowd on top of the bridge.
Wisdom. You don't show need to be specific. Okay, let's start with the newspaper front pages. We'll start with the first news, because, I mean, it's called the first news. It's only right we start with it. Oh, okay. Our director wants us to start with, our producer wants us to start with The Matrix. Okay, headline there says, better days lie ahead in 2025. FG's assures Nigerians. And so many people say, you know, we've been hearing better days ahead since 1960. So the writer says, Tinubu's reforms will start yielding tangible results, says Idris. Says 2025 budget, a bold statement of intent. Nigeria gets new accountant general as Made bows out. Okay. We also have on the front page of the Matrix newspaper, PDP crisis festers as party expels Wabara, demands new Board of Trustees chairman. Labour Party stands firm against takeover, shuts door on merger talks. Bandits abduct 4 university students and police intensify rescue efforts. Also on the front page of the Matrix newspaper, Nigeria attracts $50 billion in foreign direct investment, disburses 50 billion naira to 894 MSME, says Oduwole.
All right, let's now go to our next paper. And on the front page of our next paper this morning, let's look at this Nigerian newspaper. On the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, we can see the big story there. It says 3 oil firms own up to 5.6 billion naira indebtedness to federal government. And then we can see some, the writer there, Auditor General's report nails culprits. Reps issue 2 weeks ultimatum for payment. National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 trillion economy by 2030. You don't believe it. Ex-immigration chief Padang died in hotel room, not kidnapped, say FCT police. Now, the report was that, we've seen multiple reports. One of them I saw was that a female visitor...
She's on the run. They're looking for her.
Exactly. Effort in top gear to arrest suspect immigration mourns ex-CGI. At the top of the paper, we have ex-Akwa governor Emmanuel in EFCC net over alleged 700 billion naira fraud. That's all on this Nigerian newspaper. Let's go to the next.
Okay, the first news, and I'll just pick up from where Olive left off. It's big news because of the amount of money and the personality involved. Ex-EFCC arrests ex-Akwa Ibom governor Udom Emmanuel over 700 billion naira fraud. Yes, and the headline is Dangote versus NNPCL, battle for Nigeria's fuel market.
Again?
Intense price war slashes petrol costs, but will it last?
That's another thing. Whether I said this, but for now we call it aura for aura.
Or maybe, I mean, there are different angles, but we'll come to Sesan for deeper analysis on that. Supreme Court verdict, stability or more chaos in Rivers? Question mark. Fubara's impeachment looms as lawmakers give 48-hour ultimatum, and it's going to expire today. I think this is a very alarmist headline. Who says impeachment looms? Is he in the mind of the Amawile faction?
Because the Amawile faction have thought about it before, and in that time led to the demolition of
Assembly. If you can think it, you can do it. Okay. Obasa returns. He laughs back to...
He who laughs last, laughs best. Yes. All right, away from first news, I think we have...
No, there's some good news here. It's always good to share good news when it comes to Nigeria. Nigeria's power generation hits 5,713 megawatts, highest in the history of this country.
Fantastic
But the question is, do you have light?
Well... I may not be able to answer that question correctly.
It's one thing to generate, is another
thing to distribute and to transmit.
And others will say, look, this 5,730
There's another good news there. I don't know if you took it. Reps order multi-choice to hold subscription price hike. Nigerians will see that as good news.
It's not good news. We're a free economy, capitalist economy. Market forces should demand.
The consumers, for them, it's good news because they're thinking, at least I'm not playing.
They're not speaking economic language.
They don't care about that.
Exactly.
That's your own English you're speaking.
It's a cup of tea.
Okay, I think we have one more paper to look at, the Blueprint newspaper. On the front page of the Blueprint, Tinubu's trips attracted $50 billion foreign investments, according to Minister Wau. Projects 30% ROI contribution to GDP by 2030, 2025 budget roadmap for economic resilience progress, Idris says.
We want to see proof of that.
Honestly, all this one is just talk. Let's see.
You know, it's ministerial scorecard, and I guess that's why it's ministerial scorecard season.
Yes, everybody's delivering their mandates.
The Tinubu administration's 2-year anniversary is coming up. That's why EFCC is busy arresting. Everybody's showing walking. All right.
Still on the front page, we have National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 trillion economy by 2030, according to Senate leader. Can rejects call for Akpabio's resignation. Ramadan Sheyi Tinubu breaks fast in Kano, launches feeding. At last, Ogunjimi emerges Accountant General of the Federation. And that's all on the front page. Let's begin with the newspapers, and let's bring in Sesan Okunade into the conversation.
Yes, I want us to start with Dangote versus NNPC. How low can the prices go, number one? And number two, other people have fears. They say, you know, Dangote in the cement industry, he brought down prices, it forced his competition out, and then when there was no competition, he increased it, and it became a sort of monopoly. Do you see that sort of danger happening with this fuel battle?
Yeah, thank you very much, Benga. I think where we need to start from is if Dangote can do it, just like Oliver, anybody can do it. It's an eye-opener that the man took the risk and is actually challenging status quo. What NLPC failed to do, like those things we always put the song, he has done it for Nigerians. And he has been a big competitor to them. I remember the last conversation I heard from NNPCL. They were saying that the gimmick out there, this video that went viral, was really not valid because they themselves are now buying product from Dangote. So it shows how a lot of things are going wrong, and we are not just addressing it. They should, if you ask me, be competitor to Dangote, having 4 refineries owned by the government, existing refinery that you can actually use the government resources to bring back to limelight and now compete with the man. If people are saying Dangote is used to that, he's a businessman and he explores every avenue that he has. He looks for a way to take off his competitors. And when you are the only person in charge of the whole thing, you determine what happens, irrespective of whether you're having the feeling of the populace or not. So if people are thinking in that direction, what should come to the mind of an average Nigerian is to say, if Dangote can take the bold step to do this, and our government has failed in making sure that the refinery come upstream, you can imagine if Nigerian 4 refineries are functioning. Who is Dangote to determine things for you? The government dictates the pace, and others will follow. So they have the machinery, they have the capital, they have the resources, but because of corruption, misappropriation, no consequential management on the aspect of the people that are doing wrong thing, this will definitely happen, and I won't blame Dangote for it. As a matter of fact, other business owners should start looking in that area to see how they can venture into this and cash out. If government has failed.
If you look at the examples of Petrobras in Brazil or Petronas or PDVSA in Venezuela, these are governments-run oil companies and they're still making a profit. And you still have other players there. So they dictate, they're the market leaders and they dictate at the pace in those countries.
That we have said across board, not even in petroleum products. Government should be everywhere in making sure that they act like a price control agency for those things. But when you don't produce something, you leave it in the hands of whosoever because you don't even know the pain that person is going through. And that's the way a businessman thinks. He wants a situation where he takes over the market as an individual, and when you have no option,
It's when you have option you can challenge status quo. So I want to call out NNPC rather than challenging or fighting him. Fix what you have and let that speak for you, not you becoming a tool in the hands of an individual who is taking the risk.
And I think all of this started happening after we saw the content creation comparison.
Even before then, the regulatory agency was, denigrating Dangote.
Dangote, and that's the man. As a matter of fact, Benga, I expect that by now, the man managing that regulatory should be fired. Because this man that NNPC is alluding to, that they are patronizing his product, this was actually relegated. They almost cost him so much investment. And the man is out there. I challenge him this morning to come on here and come and tell us what has suddenly changed. Right. He came to tell us that the quality of the product was nothing to write home about. A lot of things that was, if the man was not resilient, we won't be where we are today.
Absolutely. Anyway, we will see how far the price war goes, or how far
There is no price war only. The man determines what goes on because there is nobody competing with him as we speak. Dangote, because NNPC we said the two refinery reporter.
What about the importers?
The importers had no, as in this, I think the government is giving them a right for their money. They are not having it the way it should go. So they might be struggling. But what we're saying is that if the government is sincere with themselves, saying that we want to improve the local content, what everybody should be thinking about now is how do we resuscitate the other refinery? If it's not going to be, give it to the private business owner who understand the dynamics of business, rather than wasting the asset, put it to use, and now possibly have your tripartite or your bilateral agreement with such people, in government having the stake. And the way things goes, and that's why we keep saying it, look at the power sector being privatized. A lot of us still struggle to see the end behind the tunnel with the stake that they have in it. I think government should be intentional in making sure that they do what is needful in directing the affairs of things as against, I won't blame Dangote. If I'm his shoe, I'll do the same, because every businessman, the risk that man took, why can't the government do the same? Even with our taxpayers' money, a lot of them take so much of our funds, invest in foreign things, and not even local content.
Okay, let's move the conversation away from Dangote and NNPC, and let's head over to Rivers State, where we do not know what will be happening today. Today marks the expiration of the 48-hour ultimatum given by the Martin Amewule-led House of Assembly to the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Do you see the possibility of an impeachment really looming? Because First News says Fubara's impeachment looms as lawmakers' 48-hour ultimatum expires.
Do you see him presenting the
budget? He's waiting
too?
for the certified true copy of the judgment, the Supreme Court judgment, and he's expecting to receive it on Friday.
Why does it take so long? Is Abuja so far from Rivers State?
My dear,
even if you have to trek, I think by now you should be better. The truth of the matter is, I think our leaders are really not sensitive to good governance, and people are not really on the face, of what they're actually doing. This is part also between the big guys. If you ask me, waiting for that particular thing, you've heard the declaration. Let's leave this atmosphere of trying to buy time. Why not do the needful? If today you don't deliver that particular thing and you say you don't have the certified truth copy, of which I feel that if this thing is of importance to you, you can always just send somebody to pick those things for you, or have a confirmation via even phone call. These days, technology has gone beyond that particular thing. Somebody can send a mail, somebody can even scan that copy to you, and you get the hard copy later, taking yourself off what it should be. I asked myself several questions that will preach something and we act something different. In the era of technology, you are waiting for hard copy, certified true copy, when electronically that can be delivered within 30 minutes to you, that you have that judgment. Why do we have in circulation things that are hidden, that we don't ask for the hard copy or the certified true copy, and people come to challenge it? We should leave this era. The government should be sincere.
So you think you should actually have presented budget?
For me, because you see, he has lost the first phase of this war. If he considered that state very important to him, he should look for a way to look for how he can politically just appease, let me say, the gods.
Appease 27 wolves.
Is there any way to appease? Because the peace
yeah.
accord was an option on the table. You know,
And it
at
failed.
the time, the president intervened in this crisis. Jason Wike does not look like he's ready to settle with anybody.
You might think it's not, because on the long run it will speak. You see, it's like a recording version of what is happening. The people will play back to him in years to come. He's in power today. He understands the dynamics of what is going on in Rivers State.
Yeah.
You need to tread softly, because years to come, people will come out and say, you did this, you are no longer relevant.
Oh,
because
you think politicians think about posterity?
they who says they don't? People are actually watching. And that's why you see a lot of people, when you do certain acts, people will go back to records and tell you that this that you're actually doing. And that's why a lot of us said, when you put certain things with what happened to us in Lagos and say this, people will go back 3, 4, 5 years or even 10 years and refer. It's a precedent, but you won't understand that particular thing happening now. So I feel that politically they will manage that particular, even though they know that on the other side, because if you impeached him, the judges are already coming out to say they should not consider that as an option. And you can imagine the unrest, whether those are
option.
they should not consider that. So they should look for political way of actually settling this. It's a fight between them, and the citizens are not in the scheme of things.
They
are not
just like
considering
Lagos
them.
State.
They are not considering them. It's about the high and mighty considering and positioning themselves for 2027, 2031. It's not about, because if it's about the people, there are several grants. Both parties will shift and be able to have a common grant in putting the people. But in all this game, people are not just in it, that I can tell you.
Like Olive always says, it's a fight between elephants.
Exactly.
This fight should actually be on National Geographic.
Grass has always been suffering now. Grass has always been suffering.
That's it.
No, it's
Like the fight between two elephants, it should be on National Geographic.
Elephant gladiators.
You see, we keep telling these politicians that irrespective of whatever you're doing now, people can come out to say, this is what Awolowo has done, this is what this Zik has done, the development that they brought to people. People will ask, what actually are the problems that you are able to solve? And what problem did you create? This that is happening in Rivers, will definitely ask of the story. Are you creating a problem or solving a problem?
Providing a solution.
Now, quickly, this is because of foreign investors. Yeah, Reps orders multi-choice to halt subscription price hike. And Nigeria's power generation is it worth celebrating? The price hike, what message does this send to foreign investors?
Well, a lot of words like that have come out of National Assembly, and it doesn't hold water. Economically, I will always say, don't just woo the sympathy of the people as against killing the business. Have you have a thought through?
Yes.
Have a thought through to see the pain those particular organizations are going, or you just feel mere share. We've asked that open the space for more competition to come in. As we speak, multi-choice is enjoying monopoly because every other that tends to compete with them does not match up with some of the services that they offer. So these are areas you start looking at, not you giving this. If multi-choice increases particular, then nothing will happen. We've
multi-choice saw the telecoms increase. They say, we too want to, can we increase?
You will see it happening, and
you can't blame them. They know it's in this economy.
Yeah, they're buying petrol. They're all.
So you should balance the act, not win the populist idea by saying we just want to give the instruction. If you go ahead and say don't increase the price, and multi-choice cease to exist, the same populists will come back to you that these are part of the things we use in having information on what is going on, and you suddenly job losses. You suddenly kill that particular price, and you're not allowing it to exist.
I want to talk about Senator Ita Giwa. And I don't know if you were able to watch the interview she granted, where she talked about the current situation of Senator Natasha Akpoti and the allegations she leveled against Senator Akpabio. And in the interview, she said a number of things. And basically, the main point is that as a woman at that caliber, you cannot be complaining of sexual assault. You should go there and be able to take your stand like a man. You should make yourself unapproachable, and there's been a lot of reactions. Let's get your thoughts first on her statement.
Well, my reaction is simple. I think I will toe the line of Senator Florence Ita Giwa. To get to that height as a woman,
a lot must have actually been given in to even win the primaries against men. You know, we always say this thing, and we are national, it's men's world. But for a woman to break that particular, it's not, it shouldn't be sexual harassment that will be the order of the day.
So you don't believe that women at that level can experience sexual harassment?
The fear of you even talking to such a woman at that level is there.
But this is coming from a colleague.
A colleague can make advancement. They can do whatever they like. You have that grant to stand and command that respect that will put whosoever...
And that's why this is in the public,
But
because
in a way,
that's...
can I please say something that what we're doing, and why I bring up this conversation is because
Yeah.
this is International Women's Month, and this is a conversation that will come up.
Of course.
And we are a society that oftentimes shifts the blame where the blame shouldn't be. If a person doesn't respect the boundaries of a woman and crosses into the boundaries of a woman, shouldn't the blame be on the person who has crossed the boundary,
aggressor,
as opposed to the person who has to then protect herself? So this is the complaints that a lot of women have, because if we continue to toe this line, what we'll see is that many women who are facing sexual abuse will not speak up.
Olive, I'm not supporting the act of harassing or embarrassing or molesting a woman, but the fact remains that why do we wait this long? Let me first ask the question.
So why did she wait this long?
As in, until a seat was actually changed and some of those dynamics.
It doesn't
See,
matter.
I will always say that from first day, let there be. I appreciate the fact of people speaking out at the right time.
Have you ever been sexually abused?
Well, no.
Do you understand what it means?
I
Do you
understand.
know that in the moment when it happens, a number of people don't know what to say. They don't know what to think.
Because you're not expecting
Because you're
it.
not expecting. And you need some time to process your
when
emotion.
you talk, you see, when I want to put this from two sides. For a caliber of Natasha, I will tell you that when it comes to sexual harassment from a colleague, there are ways you stand your ground. Oliver, I'm still saying it.
Okay, let's give a real life. Let's give a real life example,
Yeah.
and not,
this is not
think
okay.
about anything hypothetical. This
Okay.
happened in real life. It's
Yeah.
verifiable. The parties are alive today, and
Yeah.
they've given. One of them has given an account. NDDC boss, MD of the Niger Delta Development Commission. That's a huge position.
Yeah.
She was, Mrs. Joy Nunez, she was sexually harassed by the same Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. And she didn't even, she said, I'm an Ogoni woman, I didn't take that rubbish. I gave him a dirty slap. I mean, it's on record. So doesn't
she
this
said
show
that.
a
And this is
pattern?
not us saying,
And is that the way
Akpabio
everybody
did
should
or Akpabio
respond?
did it. Senator Akpabio did or he didn't do it. We're not speaking
It's
to...
just information
We're
that
just
is
speaking to
out
the
there.
information that,
Yeah.
that each party has provided. So if somebody alleges that they've been sexually abused, or sexually... Abuse is not the word, sexually assaulted, right? If they allege that they've been sexually assaulted or they've been sexually harassed, shouldn't the blame move to the person who has crossed the boundary? Because no matter how firm you stand
you see,
as a woman,
Olive.
people who will cross your boundaries will cross your boundaries.
And the same thing happens with rape.
Olive,
Yes.
you see, I always look at this thing from the other side too. I'm sure you know a lot of women too assault men. I'm sure you know that happened.
This is not gender specific. I'm saying
I'm saying that I think for the caliber of people in question, what the other woman in NDCC did, see, I can tell you for free, if a lady, if a guy, you know, assaults you and you're not willing, there are reactions you put up.
Oh, that's not true.
There are reactions in ladies.
That's not true. That's not true.
Our
People
producer
react
is saying we
we
have
need
to
to wrap
go.
up this conversation. And we need to have this as a conversation because it really, it's really concerning that as a society, we are still pushing ideas and ideals like this.
We don't push it to the victim, but you should react timely.
No. And just to mention this, again, we're working based on the information that has been presented to us. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has alleged that the Senate president sexually harassed her, rather. Right? She alleged that he has harassed her. We expected the speech from him. He hasn't. But we are speaking technically to what she has, alleged. And you haven't, you're saying that if what she alleged is true, then, the blame shouldn't be on him. It should be on her.
I'm not saying it should be on her.
We're having a conversation with the Senate President's senior legislative aide next, so we'll deal with that in context, and in detail.